Chile is famous for its bustling capital city Santiago, the Andes mountain range, outstanding national parks, diverse ecosystems, and its cuisine, which is inspired from a mix of Spanish influence and Chilean indigenous culture. Chile opened its first McDonald's in 1990 and now has 77 outlets, ranking it 48th on the world list of countries with the most McDonald's. This is my experience of trying McDonald's in Chile.
Buenos dias, welcome to Chile. It's actually about 7 p.m, so buenos tardes would probably be the more appropriate greeting. And just settled into Santiago after a long, I think it was 14-hour flight, so pretty grueling. Most of the stations have lots of Americanized options. There'll be KFC, Pizza Hut, what have you. As with always, I like to have a little flick through just to see what they've done with the menu. Have they kept all the classics? Have they brought their own sort of vibe to it, their own take on this particular dish? In terms of the savoury, the beef and the chicken, it's quite traditional. I mean, you had single burgers, double burgers, triple burgers. They did have their signature range, which is the Smokehouse, and I think I have seen the Smokehouse closer to home, but whilst I have seen it, I don't think I've ever tried it before. So I thought, given they don't really do anything else that's super unique in terms of your chicken and your beef, I'm going to give a Smokehouse a go today. And then I went further and look at the snack option and the desserts, and there are a few interesting little tweaks they've done there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another McDonald's that does empanadas. If you've travelled, you've probably seen them before. They're little pastry things that contain different types of things. You can get ones with cheese, ones with meat, and all different types. This one, they only actually had one choice that I could see on the menu. It was the queso, which is queso's cheese. So first things first, let's have a look at these empanadas. Clean packaging there, nothing too fancy, quite understated, but I quite like that. Of course, it's all about what's inside it, not the packaging. So let's have a look here. You do get a portion size is tres, so you get 3. I'm happy to say they're a bit big. I was a little bit concerned that because of the price point, they're actually about just under 2,000 Chilean pesos, that maybe there might be a bit on the small side, but it seems to be a decent size, because I think generally from a scientific analysis perspective, the bigger the empanada, usually the better a ratio of filling to casing. And you get these really, really small ones, sometimes you find all there is the pastry and there's nothing inside them. We don't want that. Bosh. There's some positives there. It is warm. There's a little bit of a crunch, a little bit crispy. And there is some cheese filling in there. However, what I would say is it's not super generous. If you look at the ratios, what we're looking at there, I think we're looking at probably 2/3 casing to 1/3 filling. The cheese it's giving me a hint of mozzarella. I don't know if you're a huge fan of mozzarella. Mozzarella is decent. I wouldn't say it's like my favourite cheese. You know, up the top you've got stuff like cheddar. This is not cheddar. This is it's not the best mozzarella either. But what I would say is, if we're being realistic, looking at the price point, it was under 2,000 Chilean pesos, and you get 3. So if you're hungry and you don't mind scrimping a little bit on quality just to get a decent feel for your starter, it's not a bad choice. But having said that, it's not going to blow your mind. Now we move on to what most people consider to be the main event, which is of course your burger. They do the deluxe range of Smokehouse, which I have seen before, but I don't think I've actually had to try the Smokehouse before off the top of my head, so I thought I'd give it a go. The box that it's in, I like it. It's clean black with gold font on there. It screams classic, it screams luxury, and when that's what you want. You open it up, brioche bun, they haven't scrimped on that. Generous fillings on both sides of the bun, as well as on the burger. Sometimes with these cheapy burgers, what they do is they put one layer of filling. But here, you can see some of the filling stuck to the bun, and you can see a decent amount of filling on top of your patty. So they've basically been very generous here. So first look I could see here, we've got lots of crispy onions on there. Well, it looks like we've got possibly a type of cheese on there, maybe more than one type of cheese, maybe a mustard, because there's definitely a layer of cheese on the actual beef patty, which is fantastic. I can see a rich brown sauce glistening just underneath the burger, and I suspect that could be a barbecue sauce or a variant on that, because of course it's a smokehouse. Good circumference to the burger, so it's a good size, decent amount of meat you're getting here. So let's tuck in and see what it tastes like. It eats well. Yeah, it eats well. What I like about it is you've got a lot of flavours in there, but they all kind of work well. I mean, that barbecue sauce with the burger, fantastic. Layer of cheese on top, crispy onions. It just sings barbecue to you. I haven't even actually got to the bacon part. I think there's a bit of bacon on here as well, so let's try the bacon quickly. That's solid. That's solid. I mean, to be fair, this type of burger, when you sort of manage your expectations of the fact you're in McDonald's, so it's it's a classic chain, though it isn't Michelin star. You factor in the price point, that is a burger that you're probably going to want to tell your friends and family about, because it's ticking all the boxes that you could want from a barbecue inspired burger. It's got the smokehouse sort of almost flame grilled flavour from the beef patty there, which is a good solid size. I don't know how many ounces that patty is, but it's not one of these small shriveled ones. It's a decent chunk of meat there. And then that barbecue sauce, the crispy onions, that sort of crispy bacon on top, and then you've got the onions as well and the cheese. It just works. It just works. I mean, that's the empanadas were okay given the price point, and particularly if you're hungry. But this is a step up, and definitely worth paying a little bit extra to get yourself a smokehouse luxury burger. So that's a thumbs up there. In fact, one thing that people get super excited about is, what are the range of condiments like? I mean, we all know what we get in the UK and America. It's ketchup and mayonnaise. Well, guess what? Here in Chile, it's the same. And actually, without even asking, they put 3 sachets of ketchup and 3 sachets of mayonnaise in the bag. But what I would say is, this burger is so good, it doesn't need any additional condiments. It works absolutely fine as it is. Though, having said that, some people do like to dip their fries in something. But for me, I'm perfectly happy just having the fries as standard with this burger, but that's up for the bear in mind. Very generous with the condiments here, and that's a plus point. The touch screens were fantastic. Service was pretty quick, prompt, friendly, so no complaints there. I like the decor. It looked quite modern and clean inside, quite inviting, so if I wasn't recording this video, I probably would have sat inside happily and ate this meal. So we've tackled the starter, we've tackled the main course. There is, of course, one thing left to do, and that is have something from the dessert menu, which, whilst maybe most people view the burger as the main event, sometimes for me, I actually like the dessert option. And as I mentioned earlier on, they were doing some new iterations of the McFlurry. There was 2. There was one with additional chocolate pieces, or what looked like chocolate pieces in there, but also there was another one where you get Rocco or Rocas frutas, red fruits, red berries, in addition to the chocolate bits as well. So you're getting a double whammy of 2 additional elements there. It is a hot day, so it has melted somewhat, but I'm sure it's still going to be delicious. Well, I hope so. Let's find out. What I would also say is the base for the McFlurry, they give you a choice. Vanilla, chocolate, 50-50. And I went for 50-50, so my base is 50% chocolate, 50% vanilla. I tell you what, that is nice. I mean, obviously, combining vanilla and chocolate is a classic combination. If you think of the Neapolitan ice cream, which has got those 3 tiers, those 3 pillars of brilliancy, your chocolate, vanilla and strawberry. There's no strawberry in this, but you get an additional hit of the extra chocolate, and it is quite strong. So the main chocolate ice cream is quite a mild chocolate flavour in there, but those extra little bits of chocolate on top elevate the intensity of that cocoa in there, and I think it works really, really well. Maybe because it's melted, the berries get lost in translation a little bit, but I think that's, on paper, an interesting addition, because of course berries can be quite tart, and that can give you a little bit of acidity in there that can cut through all that sweetness, which could be quite a clever idea. Submerged within the molten or melting McFlurry, a piece of chocolate. One thing that I didn't initially notice, because I was just having mainly the melted bits, was there's actually a piece of almond in there. So you're getting an additional ingredient in there, an additional texture. You got the crunch in there. You get protein in there, so it's not just all fat and sugar. You're getting a bit of nutrients in there as well. And yeah, I have to say, I mean, I don't eat chocolate bars that often, but if I was going to have a dairy milk, I'd much rather go for the fruit nut option, because you get the fruit in there and you get that crunchiness of the nut in there as well. So there you go there. That's what you get in addition to your standard McFlurry base. Again, on a hot day, you need something like this to cool you down, so a great way to finish. So in summary, the elements we tried, the empanadas, they were okay. They were okay, nothing fancy. Bit of a cheap eat there. You got to try it because it's a little bit different. The Smokehouse Burger was absolutely fantastic. Enjoyed that. And then to finish things off, the McFlurry as well. So two out of three are winners, and the other one was okay. So on balance, quite impressed with what I've seen here in Santiago.